Hey everybody, it's Chuck, and what a week. Uh, it's Thursday, and I'm getting up my first video. Sorry, ended up being a little busy, in terms of filming and, having the time. It is a bit involved, for what you see as the end product is really more like a couple hours worth of work. So, but enough of that. One good thing is I was able to get in the mail from Big Bad Toy Store. Ta-da! Now I am calling this figure Transformers Legacy United uh, Starscream Super Mode. Super Mode Starscream, but I think in Japan it's called Starscream Super Mode. Now, for many of you, if you remember back from when we looked at the Thrilling 30 version of this figure, this is a repaint of the Generations Legacy, I think Legacy Evolution Armada Starscream. And back in the day, this was the repaint of the regular Armada Starscream. Now, in the United States, the character was called Thundercracker. And for those of you who may not remember, the original version of this toy was my first purchase as an adult collector. So it has a special place in my heart. And even in the cartoon, I'm pretty sure they refer to it as Thundercracker. Realistically, what it was, and I think the Japanese in the Micron Legend anime got this a little bit better. This is Starscream infused with some power from Unicron. Obviously, I'm pretty sure it's a lot more complicated than that because, Japanese anime, God forbid anything simple. So that's why it's called Starscream Super Mode or Super Mode Starscream. I think they put it as Starscream Super Mode. But, in the US, when you have a blue jet, 9 times out of 10, it's Thundercracker. And this kind of explains why Starscream and Thundercracker were basically just repaints, and then Skywarp had the extra tooling for the head and stuff to make it a little bit different, since these were meant to be the same character. Now, this was some sort of convention exclusive. This is where you got that Bumblebee movie, Nemesis Prime, the Decepticon throne separate. I think one or two other things. This is all I was really interested in, just because back in the Thrilling 30, when they did the deluxe Starscream, I picked up the Super Mode repaint. Now for here, I think they're just referring to this as a Transformers Legacy. So they're not doing the whole United thing with it, which is kind of understandable, but for our purposes, I'm going to refer to this as a Legacy United product. Besides being a repaint, the accessories are repainted too. This whole box, I believe, is an homage to the original Micron Legend packaging in the US. It was just an open window box. But the other thing that is kind of new and kind of helped cushioning the price of the figure is it comes with blast effects. So, here's the top, the sides. You can see the blast effects in effect. Pardon the pun. But yeah, other than that, it's going to be just a straight repaint, but this was a fun mold. I kind of enjoyed it. And like I said, there's a lot of a nostalgia here for me. So let's get it into the box and take another closer look. Okay, and here's Starscream Super Mode out of the package and all prettied up for you. I've got all the blast effects on and its weapons. It does come with that non-transforming wing sword, now done in that neon pink, and the Star Saber in that metallic blue. For a lot of you who may not remember, once the three mini-cons combined into forming the Star Saber through animation magic, the sword took on more normal looking sword proportions and appearance while maintaining some of that, aesthetic of having three vehicles combined together. I do appreciate that they do properly paint the hilt and stuff like that. Now, obviously, with the big honking cannons out, you really can't see Starscream's face. So let's go ahead and just remove the blast effects. Now, you'll notice I don't have them fully combined. I have the two wider splays right here on the forearms, and that's just because it's easier to get these on when it's just these little bits right here. But bringing that back and then rolling the cannons back gives us a better look of Starscream Super Mode. And basically, it looks like the toy. Really nice proportions. Proportions. Yeah, the colors and stuff. The blue does pop. Obviously, I had to get this because it's that nice shade of blue I like. And yeah, so let me just bring them up here into a neutral stance, if you will. And, and let's go ahead and bring in the original version of Starscream. That I'm sure most of you Armada fans remember a little bit better. We've taken a look at this figure already, and you can just see the color swaps and what have you. And you can definitely see the difference in colors on the Star Saber, the lack of paint, really. Now, I would say this is molded in the color of the wings like it should. This is, I think, like a powered-up version of the sword. I mean, that's not how it looked like on the original toy. But as you can see right there, it is molded in blue, so that is nice. And, yeah, just a quick little thing right here. I want to bring you attention to the back. I have Super Mode Starscream in what I would consider the battle-ready position with the cannons up but folded back. And then here, regular Starscream, I just have them folded along the back. You can do that, but, and this is something the instructions really don't mention, this panel right here, there are tabs that peg in. If you bring the cannon all the way down, those tabs really don't peg in anywhere, and really nothing pegs in to secure the back into place. So there is that, but you can do that. Really doesn't affect articulation or anything. The joints obviously are a little bit tighter on the Super Mode version. I shouldn't say obviously, it could have been very floppy, but usually with these releases, the QC is just a hinge better. Starscream is a little bit loose. I believe that's how it was on the original release. Now, I did eventually get a Starscream just to have the original cartoon colored version. But again, this release right here, the Super Mode, that was my first major purchase as a collector. And I got to admit, and I said this in the Starscream review, I am a little bit disappointed that they didn't go ahead and include the mini-con and some of the special gimmicks with it. And I'm really not happy that when it comes to these Armada releases, you have to wait for exclusive repacks, repaints at a higher price point to get a dinky little mini-con, like they did with the Power Links Hot Shot. They're gonna do with that Armada Wheeljack that's coming in like wave 5 of United. I mean, holy Moses, this United is really going. I mean, they're pulling everything out. But yeah, I think they could have just included the mini cons. I mean, I feel nickeled and dimed a little. So there is the comparisons right there. So let's get Starscream out of the way. And I'm pretty sure in the original review, I showed you how to go from vehicle to robot. Interestingly enough, Super Mode is packaged in vehicle mode, so the instructions there show you vehicle mode to robot. But now I'm going to show you robot mode to vehicle mode. And there's a few things, obviously, that need to be remembered and pointed out. So first things first is if you straighten out the arms here, let's bring the wings up and kind of they do sit in those grooves right there, so make sure you have the shoulders down. I mean, articulation is all the same. I think this is a very well articulated figure. Go ahead and bring up the nose cone that tabs in right there on the underbelly. Flip up these fins, and then bring up this back section. If you had the cannons already up, you would just be untabbing that blue panel, but go ahead and bring that up. Flip the heels in on the feet. These were actually kind of tight to get out. I almost broke a nail. Go ahead and flip this whole section back, and once you do that, not all the way, but just enough so that you can bring the head down. Now, this little panel, I do remember on Starscream, and it actually happened when I was transforming it. That has that would fold down. That's actually staying in place, so I'm not going to fool around with it. I think it's just meant to cover up gaps and stuff when the head pops up, and it gives you a way to cover the head. So just get that down and covered. And now we're going to come back and deal with the legs here, and this is why I said don't bring up the torso too much. You want to turn them in so that the fins are facing each other. Then come into the back here and open up these panels, and you're going to open them up all the way out. Fold up the feet. The feet will soft friction into place. And then you're going to fold the legs up, and they're going to go in past the arms. The toes want to sit in that groove right there where my finger was. Kind of hard to see, but get that up. And then do it on this side. Same thing. Try to keep things relatively straight. And do make sure that the leg collapses in on itself completely. At the same time, you're bringing down those panels right here that they'll tab in flush to each other. And now you can bring up this back section of the legs, and that will tab in to that blue panel right there. I mean, it kind of holds. Any real jostling, it might loosen up. You might have to, and of course, adjust things for space and time. Now, turning the figure over, want to open up these back panels, fold the hands in, close them up just like so. And then this is a part that I think a lot of people sometimes forget. These arms are on tracks. You want to slide them out, rotate them back a little bit, and then slide it so that for vehicle mode, they're at the furthest point from the main body. And then bend up the elbows and the arm, and there's a tab in a slot that will peg in just like there. Again, bring it out. And the arm will not tab in if you do not have it all the way slid out. So if you're having problems getting on Starscream, or if you have this version, having problems getting the arm to sit properly, check to see that it's the shoulder is slid out on the track. I should say, the bicep is slid out on the track. So once that's done, basically all that's left is you can, I know this is kind of gauche, but peg the Star Saber under one wing. I guess, actually, I think you can do it here on the forearm. Oh, yeah, but it would have to sit, angle upward. And do it like that. That's a little bit different. Keeps the wings clear. And then, of course, you can bring the cannons out in vehicle mode. And go ahead. Slap the blast effects on. And there you have Starscream Super Mode in its vehicle mode. Very nice. The blast effects are a nice touch, but I should remind you, as we've heard several times now, these blast effects do break down. They break down very quickly, and if you leave them attached, they will corrode and erode the plastic that they're attached to. So unfortunately, you really can't leave these blast effects attached for long-term display. If they would have used a harder plastic, if they would have used like a solid plastic, maybe it would have been different. But in this regard, you're just going to have to not display your toys with these blast effects. It was a nice concept by Hasbro, introduced in Siege. Unfortunately, if it's going to end up damaging the toy, I'd rather they not include it. But that's about it. Let's pause, and we'll come back with my final thoughts. Starscream Super Mode is one of these oddities. It's again, it was one of these toys that when it was originally released was a mainline release, and I think now will be regulated to always being some form of exclusive, be it convention or online. And that's a little bit of a shame because that does drive the price up a bit. And I don't know really if the figure is worth it, because it being just a straight repaint of Armada Starscream. Now, of course, Armada was a very popular show, so I'm sure a lot of people are going to jump on it, especially to get like the repaints and stuff. So if this really grabs your whistle, then by all means, pick it up. I got mine from Big Bad Toy Store, and right now I'm pretty sure that might be the only domestic importer that has it. I heard something that said Hasbro Pulse had no plans on bringing this or any of the other figures over. That's a little odd to me. There might be like a rights issue because it was a convention exclusive overseas. So just be aware of that. And it's one of those, if you're going to get it, if you're thinking about it, pick it up now, because as time goes on, I'm not going to say it was a very limited release, but it was a limited release in such that the price will start going up as time goes on and availability declines. So I'm happy I got it. I'm happy to be able to bring it to you. And really, that's about it. So if you like this review, like, comment, and subscribe. I always appreciate the views. But if you want to make the ultimate sign of support, I do have a Patreon. It's www.patreon.com/ChuckDog1999. All I ask for is $1 a month, $12 a year. But I do realize that with the holidays coming up, money becomes a little tighter. So if you can't swing the $1 a month or $12 a year, your views are more than thanks enough. Patreon is just a cherry on top of an already generous sundae. And I really do mean that. So once again, that's really about it. Can't think of anything more to say. I mean, the nostalgia. I mean, the nostalgia is hitting me more with this figure than some of the others, just because of how historic this version of the character is. But this is your old pal Chuck for Starscream Super Mode. We will see you next time.